Welcome back to another episode of Time Out with the Sports Doctor podcast. I'm very excited to finally be able to introduce you to Ethlyn's Hope. I've been talking about this now since before I went to Kenya, but today I'm going to introduce you to Ethlyn Cowan, who is the founder and CEO of Ethlyn's Hope. And by the end of this episode, you will understand why this mission and why this organization is so important. I won't even have to ask you to donate. But I will include the information for Ethlyn's Hope Center in the show notes. And if you're watching here on YouTube, we'll have it on the screen during this episode. So, as I mentioned before, I've known Ethlyn almost for 2 decades now, going back to my first mission trip in Jamaica in 2007. Now, here we are as a family able to support this mission, which we have been doing now for almost a decade, but it's different being able to actually go to Kenya, to be on the grounds, to be at the center, to interact with the kids, the teenagers, and to really be a part of their life. And since then, the more important thing is the continuation of the conversations, being able to keep in contact with several other residents, and more importantly, is the continuation of the communication, continuing to support the mission, continuing to build for future missions, and to expand the impact for Ethlyn's Hope. So without further ado, we'll get into this one-on-one conversation with Ethlyn Cowan. So today I have the opportunity of interviewing Ethlyn Cowan, who is the founder and CEO of
Ethlyn's Hope Center, community-based organization in Marera, Kenya.
So this organization, you founded it in 2011?
Actually, the organization was formed in 2014,
Okay.
but I have been coming to Kenya since 2009.
Yeah, tell us about kind of the backstory of why you came to Kenya, how everything started.
Okay, so the backstory is I my first trip to Africa was in 2005. And while I was here on that trip, the Holy Spirit literally spoke to me and told me I need to be doing this kind of work, missionary work, using my skills as a nurse to help those who are disadvantaged. And so I knew that entailed me going back to school. So I went back to school to get my master's degree in global health.
Okay.
And so part of the program requires for me to go overseas and do a practicum. And so I ended up in Kenya. And that was the beginning of this amazing journey.
So I apologize. I skipped a very important part of the story, how we met. 2007, I was a resident at Howard University Hospital. We did a medical mission trip in Jamaica.
Yes.
And you were part of that team.
Well, I was actually the person who organized the mission down there.
Okay,
yes.
I did not
Yes,
realize that.
I was.
I was just a resident. I was there for the trip. But I did not realize you organized that. And that was a full-blown surgical
medical mission.
mission. I mean, we were working from, I remember arriving 6 or 7 in the morning and we were leaving 8, 9
o'clock at night.
That was a full-blown mission. But that was my exposure to mission work.
Yes.
And we kept in touch over time. I remember when you went back for the master's program. I remember when you were talking about starting the orphanage here. And I've been blessed to see it develop.
Yes.
And this is my first time here, with the family, being able to take part in this. So it's really been a blessing. So let's talk about Ethlyn's Hope, just the title in general. What was in your mind when you came up with that title?
So the title was sort of happened. So when I came to Kenya for the practicum in 2009, I came through an organization from the US who sends volunteers to Kenya. And so there's an organization in Nairobi called Kenya Voluntary Development Association. They sent us here to meet with that group. So when we got here, there were volunteers from all over the world. There was a total of 25 volunteers who drove from Nairobi to this little remote village outside of Kisumu. So when we got here, there's a group of women called Hope Women Group who hosted us. So Hope Women Group was started, I think, about 5 years prior to us getting here. And this was a group of 30 women who live in the community. And they started this organization for a couple of reasons. For one, there was a lot of vulnerable children in the community who lost parents due to HIV/AIDS. And then there was also a lot of older people in the community who didn't have anybody, any resources or whatever. And these 30 women would go to visit these older people once or twice a month and bring, something for them to eat or whatever. And then they had 60 kids who each woman was responsible for 2 kids. And so every month they make sure they go check on them, see if they go to school, bring them something to eat, whatever. The woman told me at the time when I got here that they had a piece of land that they would love to build a home to house these 60 children. Because when they bring whatever the supply for the child that they're responsible for, there might be another 5 or 6 kids in the house. So it doesn't really go far.
Wow.
So, say for instance, they bought 2 pounds of maize, it has to share amongst everybody in the house. So, their idea was these 60 kids, if they could bring them into one house, then they would be benefit more from what they're given spread out over the community.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a noble idea. I was very impressed with these women. I stayed with them for 25 days and helped do a whole lot of stuff in the community. And so before I left the States to come to Kenya, I had asked people from my church and my friends, hey, I'm going to Kenya for this project. Would you like to make a donation? I'm not sure who I'm going to donate it to, whatever. And so I left with $1,000. And I had no idea who I'm going to give this money to. So upon spending all this time with these women, and I was so impressed with them, the work they're doing. And I think the thing that drew me to them was the fact that these are poor women also. And a lot of them were professionals and they retired, but they didn't just stay home and not be involved with things going on in the community. They were trying to help make sure that these kids go to school and all that kind of stuff. And so at the end of the 3 weeks, I knew that this was the people that I should give the 1,000 to. So when we have that little send off sermon like we did today,
Yes.
I presented them with $1,000 and I told them, hey, I'm going to help you to build this place. But not knowing that I wasn't going to be helping them, I was going to be building it because these women had no resources or anything like that to build the center.
Wow. Well, thank you for that story because I just met a lot of the women, of course,
Mm-hmm.
this week. And then
Mm-hmm.
today, when you recognized everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is your board members, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this organization was here before Ethlyn's Hope,
Exactly.
and they helped build this. You helped their dream, they helped your dream.
Right. And
That's a
so
beautiful
as far
story.
as the name though,
Right.
so I gave the $1,000. That was in 2009. I graduated in May 2010. And so I had a big graduation party. And instead of asking for gifts for myself, I asked people to donate money towards this women's group. And I decided to come back September in 2020. So when I got back September 2020 and came to the village to the women, they're like, hey, let's go for a walk. And I'm going down the road, walking on the road. I'm like, I came up on this building. And they're like, oh, the money you left us, we use it to lay the foundation for the building. And we're going to name it after you.
Okay.
So they put my name in front of the Hope Women's Group. So, it's me and it's them also. So that's how the name came about.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes, yes.
So the other thing, let's set the stage because when we think about poverty, we
Mm-hmm.
think about poverty from a U.S. standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
We think about poverty maybe living in the projects or
Mm-hmm.
something of that nature. But talk about poverty here in Kisumu, what that looks like.
So I think the average person here lives on like maybe $1 per day. It's a real struggle. It
Yeah.
really is it's a real struggle. Folks will go to bed just eating that ugali. Sometimes that's all they eat. There is no kind of protein, anything to go with it. And if they do have protein, they have these little small fish they call omena. I mean, they almost look like little sardines that you'll see in the sea just running around. Wouldn't want to eat that kind of stuff. So it's really really challenging to survive in this community. Most of the work they do, they do farming, you see the corns and the yams and stuff like that. And they depend on also having good weather for the crops to grow and all that kind of things. It's a lot of issues when it comes to the poverty, but as poor as they are, these people are rich in spirit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, rich
Yeah,
in spirit. I mean,
absolutely.
sometimes if you sit back and you reflect on what you have and how much complaining and stuff we do,
Yeah.
and you're in the presence of these people, you would not believe that they were this poor.
Yeah. And that's most of my week has been reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially yesterday. I'll just share this story. I wasn't getting ready to leave. We were one of the last groups finishing. Suzette had handed me a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why is she giving me a water bottle? I was like, she probably didn't go back. She's over there helping with the feeding line.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk around. Number one, I see this line. There's about 150 people in the line. I walk around and there's Maisha, Derrick, Julia, Suzette. I was like, well, I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
So I jump in the line. We start all working together. And about halfway through, I'm just looking in the faces of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we are serving beans,
Mm-hmm.
rice, and cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, I couldn't give this meal away to kids. And everybody is standing in line. They don't know where the next hot meal might come from.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment hit me. And I was like, wow, we're so privileged
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to walk into a house,
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, I forgot. Let me stop at the store.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many interactions I had this week is this is a pretty simple problem.
Mm-hmm.
If I could only give them an ice pack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no electricity.
Mm-hmm.
The heat. The
Mm-hmm.
ice is not going to last.
Mm-hmm.
If I could only give them a simple ace bandage. If I could give them a cane or crutches, their lives would be changed. Where are you going to get it from?
Mm-hmm.
Derek, when he first got here, he wanted to play baseball or wiffle ball with the kids. He said, Dad, let me see your phone. I'm going to look up a Dick's Sporting Goods. Said, good luck with that, because it doesn't exist,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about now. So we talked about the beginning. Let's talk about where you are currently, 2026, how many children you're having in the house, what that looks like for them.
Let me just give a little background about the kids. So the kids who live in Ethlyn's Hope Center are either partial orphans or total orphans. That is the criteria for them to be able to live in this facility. So when the facility was opened, we dedicated the building in September 2018, but we didn't move the first kids in until like the 28th of February in 2019. We moved in 20 kids. And since then, the maximum we've had in there was 28, and now we're actually 24. So the kids are able to move in at age 5, and they're supposed to matriculate out at age 18. But what we found after moving the kids in, that most likely none of them will be able to leave at age 18. Because before these kids moved into this facility, they never went to school on a consistent basis. And so the first person who matriculated out of the facility was 21 years old. He was 21 years old when he finished high school.
Yeah.
So since he's finished, we've now had 3 persons to, age out because they finished high school. And so currently we have 25 kids who are in there. And we do have some success stories.
Mhm.
Our 2 first boys who matriculate out, one of them went to trade school and he is now an electrician. And the other one wanted to be a chef and he graduated and he's now a chef.
He is definitely a chef.
Working as a chef, and he's an amazing chef.
He's an amazing chef. Yeah.
And then last year we had 2 finish high school. One young lady, we weren't able to secure a sponsor for a vocational school as yet, and the young man, he is now in school to be a plumber. He's set to graduate the end of this year.
Yeah. And very, very respectful, great manners.
Oh yeah.
The appreciation is, unmeasurable. I mean, we literally did a session with him for about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was playing, joking. Nobody was falling asleep.
Mm-mm.
Everybody was tuned in, engaged. And I was the last speaker, and everybody still looked like they were, really tuned in to what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that in the classroom. I mean, you always got somebody that's cutting up and
Mm-hmm.
causing jokes and want to be seen. We didn't
And disrespectful.
and disrespectful. None of that. And these are, when you engage with them, you can't help but to want to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of what's going on and
Mm-hmm.
want to help them and see them succeed. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is, still in the beginning phases because there's so much more work
Work
that
to be
needs to be
done.
done
Mm-hmm.
and will be done.
Mm-hmm.
But what you've done from across the world
Yeah.
in Maryland, right? So how do you start a orphanage from Maryland in Kenya? That always baffled me,
Mm-hmm.
like how this is really happening. But I'm glad to be a part of it for now almost 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
First time being able to be here on the soil, and won't be the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the medical mission shortly, and then your future plans.
Okay, so the first medical mission I did back in 2011, and it didn't go as well as I wanted it to go. I had I signed up with another guy who was doing missions here in Kenya, and he wasn't the right fit, and I told myself that I wouldn't come back until I was able to bring a team and do a real medical mission. Because prior to coming to Kenya, I'd been on medical missions all over the place, And so that's when I started my own organization. So I brought the medical team the first time in 2014, because after being here all those other years, I see the need in the community and knew that they needed something like this. And so it has only gotten bigger and bigger. We've added different services. And I think in 2019 was the first year we partnered with Maseno University. And that has been really, really good. They send us their sixth year medical students to come and work alongside our doctors. And they've been amazing.
Yeah, I had a chance of working with several of them. They were very good.
Yes. And so partnership has grown. Initially, it was just the medical students coming, and then they've added, we've had people who come to do counseling on alcoholism. We've had people come to talk about HIV. We also have had the health department come to do testing for HIV, also on premises, and just counseling. People want someone to talk to, that kind of thing. So it's really grown, and we know there's always a need. The need is there. On an average, we see over 1,000 people. When we started the mission, we were initially doing 5 days, but for the last 3 years, I think we cut back to 4, because by the time we get to
Yeah.
5 days, we're literally
Yeah, that's a lot.
exhausted.
Yeah.
So I know for this mission so far, right now, we're way over 700 people for the 3 days
Yeah.
that we've been there.
And we're not talking only medical services. We're talking about food giveaway,
Mm-hmm.
clothes giveaways,
Yes, eyeglasses,
eyeglass giveaway, as
mm-hmm.
well as medical care.
and dental.
And dental care.
Yes, dental care.
We're extracting teeth.
And then this year we had, well, it's the second time. We had a chiropractor back in
Yes.
2018 or 19. And then we also had a chiropractor again today. So yes.
Yeah. So this is a lot of services to
Mhm.
set up from on the other side of the world.
Yes, when most people are sleeping, I'm awake trying to
Right.
catch up with
I can
7 hour
understand.
time
I
difference.
can only understand. I
Yes,
can't hardly
yes.
imagine what it would take to
Mhm.
organize all of this
Yeah,
from, like you said, 7, 8 hour time difference.
Mhm.
So let's talk about how people can get involved and donate, as well as future plans.
I do have a website, and the website is ethlynshopewomen.org. There are links there that you can go in, and if you want to make a one-time donation, continuous donation, sponsoring a child, you're free to do that. Right now, we're only asking for $50 per month to sponsor a child, and that sponsorship, they take care of your food monthly, and then usually when it's time for school, we'd ask the sponsors to provide a little bit extra to pay for school fees and stuff like that. And as far as future plans, I'm envisioning building a vocational center, if not on site, close in the same community, because there is a need for that in the community. So not only would the kids who are residing at Ethlyn's Hope Center be able to transition over to get a trade, also people from the community would be able to attend and benefit from the facility being there, because right now they do have several trade schools and those kind of programs in Kenya, in and around Kisumu, but of course the kids have to travel, and They have to find places for boarding and all that kind of stuff. So if we had something right there, they could walk, come to school, go home, and wouldn't have to incur that extra expense to go out of town to get that kind of training. That's the biggest vision that I have right now going forward. And also, I would like to get like a big van to take these kids to school so that they don't have to walk, or sometimes they have to take a motorbike or a bicycle or whatever. But in overall, it'll be really good, for them, because the kids are very talented and they get asked to go out and dance and recite all the time. Y'all see how well they dance.
Oh yeah, no, they're awesome.
They get invited all the time. So then we have to figure out how we get transport to take them there and that kind of thing. So getting transportation for them would be amazing.
It's been great for me to just hear the whole story of how things came about, as well as future plans. But we want people to become a part of this because it's meaningful work. It's not, I've given to orphanage across the world.
Don't know where the money went.
There. Don't know where the money gets with. You're paying a CEO, you're paying an organization, and you get a little piece of paper and you hope that's a real kid. This is real work being done in a community in Kenya. You can come visit. You can come hug your child. You can come be a part of his life.
Anybody can come. Yeah. I mean, so I open the mission to volunteers. I usually make sure that I have my essential people first, and then the volunteers can come. You don't have to be anything medical. As long as you got 2 hands and 2 feet, we will find something for you to do. And this definitely is a trip that's worth spending the money on. And you come and you will not go back the same. You will not go back the same.
Totally agree.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yes.
Even if you don't have a heart, you'll still find some way.
In some way, right? Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yes.
And I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of this.
Yes, you're most welcome.
Thank you for continuing to support this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a 5-star review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe so you continue to get the updated episodes. Until later, peace.
Hey, time out with the sports doctor. Keep our head right in the game. We ain't never stopping. You are now tuned in. Trust you don't want to miss. This is where life, sports, and medicine